Honourable Member care to move that the House take note of miscellaneous business? The Honourable Tony Ryall.
Mr. Speaker, it just goes to show what 2.5 years in the opposition actually does to some people who used to see themselves bestriding the body politic of this nation. For 2.5 years, to learn why they were unceremoniously flung from office by the people of New Zealand, why their policies were discredited and they were kicked out on their heads. What work have they done to prepare themselves for government if they ever get the opportunity again? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. In fact, they've spent their whole time in this House in the last 2 weeks focusing on the things that matter to not one New Zealander. Focusing on the things that matter to not one New Zealander. We've got a country that's gone through the global financial crisis, and a huge mining tragedy, devastating earthquakes. We're facing enormous financial challenges, enormous personal challenges of New Zealanders. And what does the opposition focus on? The complete irrelevant minutiae of interest to no one but themselves. And that is not a recipe for being an alternative government. That is a recipe for another 3 or 4 terms in opposition. And that is what we will see opposite. This government is rescuing New Zealand from the worst peacetime blows since the Depression and the Napier earthquake. And what the Labour Party hates the most is that New Zealand is coming through the storm with the strong and determined leadership of John Key and the National-led government. And because they've spent 2.5 years of not addressing any big policy issues, not trying to learn the lessons of why they were kicked out as the most despised government this country has ever had, but now they find themselves 6 or 7 months from an election and they are putting all their energy and effort into stuff that does not matter. Have we had any questions in the last 2 weeks about what's being done to help people in Christchurch? No. Not one question. Have we had any questions or suggestions in the last 2 weeks on how we get our country moving forward, creating jobs, wealth and prosperity? Not one question. Have we had any questions on how we leverage the extra billions of extra money that's gone into health and education? Have we had any questions on how we can improve that? Have we had any questions or policy ideas on how those 1 in 5 kids who leave school not being able to read and write well enough can get a better education? Not one. Have we had any questions on how we can get our health service providing even faster and better services for New Zealanders? Not one. But have we had questions on petrol that ministers have used? Yes. Have we had questions on painting a building, a ministerial house? Yes. Have we had questions on a carpet? Yes. Have we had questions on who's guarding who? Yes. None of the issues that really matter to New Zealanders. And that's why I say to the party opposite, they are destined to even a longer period in opposition than they even fear. Because if after 2.5 years in opposition, the very best they can provide is a question time of silly questions to the Prime Minister, of which they haven't scored 1 point whatsoever, then they are a party that is really suited for failure, and that's what we're seeing. Because what we're seeing on this side of the House is a determination to deal with the issues that really matter to New Zealanders. And those are the issues of getting our economy moving forward and creating jobs, wealth and prosperity. This is a party that wants to keep taxes down on the people that we rely on to create jobs for other New Zealanders. This is a party that's determined to make sure that the 1 in 5 kids who can't read and do maths well enough get those opportunities. And this is a party that's put 500 extra doctors and over 1,000 extra nurses into our public hospitals.
The question is that the motion